25-3, Colorado State on the board.
Stevens definitely the most lethal shooter on this Colorado State squad. Out of Allen, Texas, the freshman has really found his keep from beyond the three-point line and is able to do so there from the wing extended.
Orekoechea on the drive, and it got tipped out of bounds. It's going to remain New Mexico State ball. Gotta love the pace.
Yeah, not really warming up to the tropical weather. They're already warm. They came in ready to go, and you can see that immediately, the fast pace back and forth between these two squads that like to run the floor.
Shot is up, and that is good. That was Buchanan with the bucket. 7-3.
So skillful in the paint, able to kind of utilize contact to find his way open, that time through a body into his right shoulder, and then bounced off of that and was able to get a wide open look.
Good dipsy-do drive, missing the layup though was Kendall Moore, and here come the Aggies of New Mexico State on the run. Sean Buchanan. Trevlin Queen, watch for the guy with the headband. He can score and score in a hurry, and the other guy with the headband gets a good layup as well. That's C.J. Bobbitt, and Bobbitt gets on the board.
Bobbitt with a beautiful cut down low, went baseline automatically and just was lost behind that Colorado State defense.
Carvacho, three ball on the wing by Stevens, and that's nothing but ripple.
You can't give that man that much room to shoot. Stevens is so good from three, and even though he's young, he's almost automatic, shooting over 50% from the field now.
Good movement by the Aggies. Orekoechea had it down low, and it's going to be a foul called against Colorado State, bailing them out.
All 6 of the points for Colorado State coming from Isaiah Stevens early in this first half. Not only is Stevens a scorer, he can also pass the rock a little bit as well. He's hit 2 threes already today, but back in high school as a part of the Allen Eagles program up in north of Dallas, he had almost 5 assists per game.
Buchanan. Into the game is Sean Williams, a junior out of Little Rock, Arkansas. Now Buchanan with the shot clock down to 4. Buchanan. Orekoechea on the turnaround. That's off the mark. Good rebound. Grabbed by Adam Thistlewood. Sophomore out of Golden, Colorado, and now it's going to go out of bounds on another turnover. Colorado State turns it over, and that will bring up our first time out of the game.
Man, if like you said, if this is going to be what we have in store for the remainder of the 12 games here from the Cayman Islands, then we're in for a treat.
Yeah, in for a treat indeed. And the Aggies now on offense again. Queen, he had a good game against the University of New Mexico, a heartbreaking 1-point loss at home in that rivalry game. On the far side, it's Sean Williams. Now they get it back to Buchanan. Mexico State, when they need to, they can be patient. Queen in the lane, a nice runner, and that's what he can do, Kyle.
Yeah, the patience really led to that bucket. You saw the double team come on multiple times. That possession down the floor for New Mexico State. And he can also play a little bit of defense.
And he lays it up and in. He was one of our players to watch. Trevlin Queen averaging 18 points, 6 rebounds a ball game. Timeout, Colorado State. You get a good look at him right there. Smooth to watch. Our crew doing a great job there. And this is just the beginning of things.
Yeah, and he's a guy that eats up a double team on offense, then he plays defense quite well, and he can take away your top scorer. It's really an asset for anybody that he plays around.
Good feed, and the other guy to watch, Nico Carvacho, 6'11", 245, a redshirt senior out of Frisco, Texas. And he had 15 points, 5 rebounds against Arkansas State in the last ball game. And that was a loss, 80-78. Believe it or not, both these teams coming off of losses. And last year, the last meeting, the Aggies winning 88-68 at Moby Arena, which is a tough place to play for opponents. Shot in the corner for 3, and that is up and good by Sean Williams. And New Mexico State just coming out and scoring. It's 16-8 already.
Sean Williams really a jolt in the arm for this Aggie squad, a transfer out of East Carolina. Stevens again.
Yeah, Stevens trying to three. The rebound Buchanan. New Mexico State, when they have the opportunity, they will run, run, run. Buchanan, a very smooth customer out of Durant, Mississippi. 6 foot 170. Watch out for this guy, Queen. They get it back to Buchanan. Feet inside. That was tipped away. And it goes back to the Aggies. Couple of players coming in. We will have number 10, Jabari Rice, who's coming off of a 13-point game. And here you look at the three in the corner, and just right when he got the ball, he fired.
And that's exactly what you want from this individual. I mean, he's already averaging almost 8 points per game. He's only played 5 games with this program after transferring, after winning Rookie of the Year inside the American Athletic Conference.
William McNair out of Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. There's a nice drive by the aforementioned McNair, and he gets on the board. We just talked about him. No points against New Mexico. Well, he's got 2 right now.
Thanks to Jabari Rice. That was a beautiful feat as time was running down on the shot clock. Able to have that awareness to look off and to his right and see the big man open down low.
There's a shot up and off the mark by Thomas, Deshaun Thomas. One of the first guys off the bench for Colorado State. And the Aggies of New Mexico State with the ball. They get it on the left wing. Here's Queen, and that was a 3 off the mark. And we come the other way now. Number 35, by the way, Johnny McCants out of Oñate High School in Las Cruces, New Mexico. He had a pretty good game the other day against the University of New Mexico. 4 points, 4 rebounds, which doesn't sound impressive, but he was altering a lot of shots. The problem, Kyle, he fouled out of the game and was in foul trouble much of the game. And
that's one thing you want to avoid today. You can't necessarily have a man down of that caliber. Like you talked about a little bit earlier, the Aggies are already missing a couple key pieces, and that's something that I think New Mexico really has to find a way to stay out of foul trouble, and if they do, those starters can really take you a long way.
3 on the way. That is off the mark, but a good look from the outside. They get it back, though. They get it in the hands of Rice, who took that 3. Rice maneuvering. Good dribbling ability by Jabari. Rice is an outstanding ball handler. McNair. Terrell Brown, a guy to watch out for. Here's Williams, and that's off the mark. Running now is Colorado State, Kendall Moore. And Roddy lost it as he stepped on the sideline. Eric Curry, Matt Potter, and Mark Riggs, the officiating crew.
I was going to talk about Colorado State just a couple moments ago. Very nice defensively down the floor against New Mexico State, forcing Sean Williams to hoist up a shot that he's not necessarily comfortable with. He's only had 1 game this season where he's hit multiple threes, and that was back against Southern when he hit 4, so he can get hot from beyond the arc, but at the same time, he's not the sharpshooter that the Aggies are looking for.
Aggies now, here's McCann. Straightaway 3, nothing but money. Johnny McCann. I saw this kid in high school. I can tell you that is not his first shot choice.
He's usually the solid rebounder of the squad. Who knew the big man can shoot?
Right, well, he drained it right there. And here comes Colorado State now with the ball. Deshaun Thomas. They get it out to Thistlewood. Byron Edwards. Little runner, and that's nothing but net. We're seeing some teardroppers go down.
Yeah, that lane has definitely been full with some of those floaters today. And you see the skill from the guard play on both sides. And Colorado State really starts with those 3 guards at the beginning of the game and then turn around and you see New Mexico State. Normally they play with more of a stretch forward look, and so you're going to see a lot of good guard play in this one.
Rice on the baseline drive is knocked to the floor, held back up. You look at the Colorado State bench. Scott Coletti and Kyle Yeomans here in the Cayman Islands. Georgetown in the Cayman Islands. Beautiful city. And I'll tell you what, it's been good hospitality so far.
No doubt about it. The people here are unbelievable, and it really seems like they know what it means to have visitors of high caliber come in, like these squads that are being represented throughout the 12 games of this tournament. So it's going to be a lot of fun to be able to spend the next couple of days here and really watch some great D1 basketball.
Free throw is up and good. Colorado State at the line. This is Jabari Rice. Aggies in the home whites today. And Rice hits the second. They're putting on a clinic so far, Kyle. 23-10. Both these teams coming off of a loss. Both these teams coming off of a home loss. So you know they want to get on the good foot and keep moving on here in this tournament. Carvacho got away with a step, and he's going to get away with being fouled. So he will go to the line.
That's a tough call if you're New Mexico State. You thought down low, we'll get a great look at it here. I thought that was all ball initially. The slap from Rice prior to the shot attempt, and I thought it hit right on top of the rock, and instead Carvacho gets to the line. But at the same time, you got to convert on those free throw opportunities. Just a 60% free throw shooter this season is Carvacho. A physical presence down low. New Mexico State's done a good job bottling him up so far. Bottling up the entire team so far with just the 10 points, now 11.
Right. So New Mexico State, who has looked very smooth from the opening tap with the ball. Terrell Brown, senior out of Hayward, California, and there's a three up and good by Sean Williams, the junior out of Little Rock, Arkansas.
And Williams, he can put it down from beyond the arc, and that three-point line is his friend once he gets rolling. We talked about that 4 3-pointer game that he had against Southern a couple weeks ago. Now he's got 2 already to his total, able to just sneak his way open. The defense just lost him up at the top of the key.
Crew doing a great job on the replays here. Bringing it right into your living room or wherever you're watching. Good steal by Johnny McCants. And here comes Terrell Brown.
Colorado State is just having trouble finding any kind of room down low.
Feed inside, and Ore Coachea had it lost as it was stolen away. 3 in the corner, and that is up and good. Good shot there by Isaiah Stevens, the senior out of a town that you're familiar with, Allen, Texas.
Yeah, and everybody around that area absolutely familiar with what Stevens brings to the table. He was an all-district MVP with the Eagles in high school, now in his first season in Fort Collins. Already his 3rd triple of the game, and that's really his bread and butter. Going back down the floor in transition, finding his way open from beyond the arc, and then just sharp shooting from there.
Rice uses screen, nice in traffic, a floater of 10, that's off the mark, and Colorado State with the rebound. Thistlewood will swing it to Roddy. Roddy, an interesting story, by the way. And that's going to be a travel. David Roddy, number 21, a finalist for both Mr. Minnesota basketball and a McDonald's award winner. And he is a super athlete. A very, very impressive athlete.
Yeah, at 6'5", 250. He moves a lot better than you would normally see a big man move like that. He's listed as a forward, but he plays more like a guard. He's really kind of a hustle guy for this Colorado State squad. Every single play, you're going to see him follow his shot. You're going to see him elevate. You're going to see him really provide some havoc for that defensive side. And just an uncharacteristic turnover there as Trevelyan Queen just lost the ball on the far side, gives it right back to the Rams. But Roddy is definitely one of those players, as just a freshman, that coaches love to have in their program.
Yeah, I mentioned Mr. Basketball Minnesota. He was a finalist for Mr. Minnesota. Here is Carvacho missing the hook. Aggies of New Mexico State on the run. They lead big, 26-14. Ore Coachea thought about the 3, but didn't take it. Trevelyan Queen, watch out for him on the near side. He's open, but Ore Coachea was open for 3, and he takes it. The other big guy making a 3. So Ore Coachea and McCants both hitting 3s. That's trouble if you're an opponent.
Well, and that's the first 3 that he's attempted this year, so he's 1 for 1 and 100%.
I didn't think he was a 3-point guy. Aggies have really been bottled up, and this is one of the things that New Mexico State does well is play defense. Carvacho in the lane, he traveled. That's all Aore Coachea's defense, and Carvacho having a tough go at it right there, and media timeout will be taken. 7:39 to go in the first half. It is Colorado State 29 and New Mexico State 29. Colorado State 14 on Flow Sports. You look at the box score, Kyle, kind of telling. Only 2 free throws for either team. It's been up and down the court. So very, very interesting that we've only had 4 free throws so far here in this ball game. You like to see those kind of games.
Absolutely. Back and forth, let the kids play.
Aure Coachea got inside, and he will go to the line.
That was a beautiful feed down low. Sean Buchanan just sneaking that one into the hands of the big man, and a good move initially right off of the first touch as he went to the inside of Carvacho, and a smart play by Colorado State, just slapping him on the wrist and making him take it and make it from the line. But at the same time, just an incredible setup there from Sean Buchanan and that entire Aggie offense.
Aure Coachea, good-looking young man, as he is out of Madrid, Spain. Missed one, made one, and that makes the score 30-14. New Mexico State with the big lead.
Aure Coachea really burst onto the scene last year in the WAC championship game. 16 points, 7 rebounds.
Good layup there by Thistlewood. So he got inside. Still lots of time in the ball game, so Colorado State needs a comeback, but they're more than capable.
They've got the firepower to do so, but you can't leave too much time.
Pull up by Buchanan. He went right, left, and decided, hey, here's my spot, and took the shot.
Leads the team with almost 4 assists per game, but that time he said, hey, I'm going to take it myself. I don't need to dish the rock this time. Pulls up just past the elbow, and a beautiful shot. Had a lot of room to work with. It was really a veteran play from Buchanan.
Carvacho throws it in the corner, and there's a good-looking 3, and that is put up by Hiron Edwards.
Edwards, just his 3rd 3 of the season so far. Not your normal threat from beyond the arc, but whenever you get a look like that, got to pull the trigger. All the way down in the corner, left alone by that Aggies defense, and that's what Colorado State needs to try and claw away at this lead.
Well, if he pulls the trigger like that, I want him taking 3s, and there's a good-looking layup inside.
Bobbitt just sneaking open back behind the defense on that baseline, and a good job by Queen recognizing that and then threading the defense with a nice feed down low.
Steal. Here comes New Mexico State. Sean Williams giving it inside. The layup is off the mark by Queen. Good rebound, Buchanan. And is it a foul or out of bounds? It goes out of bounds off of Colorado State.
What a play on the baseline by New Mexico State to be able to keep that in bounds. Take a look at this. Right underneath, Bobbitt on the lay-in. But on that last play, it was a dive from Sean Buchanan on the baseline, turning around and throwing that off of a foot of one of the Rams defenders in order to keep that in possession of New Mexico State. I've been really impressed with Sean Buchanan early in this first half.
New Mexico State very patient right now with a big lead, 34-19. Buchanan will get it outside to Queen. Buchanan, and it goes out on a turnover. It's going to be an offensive foul, push-off.
And it's not going to show up in the stat sheet, but that turnover you can really tab upon Chris Martin. A great job by the Frisco native, able to just kind of get out in space, close out in front of Trevelyan Queen. Queen had a wide open look from the elbow extended and potentially could have drained another 3, would have been his 2nd of the game. But instead, Martin was able to get out there and put a hand in his face.
Little teardrop off the mark, and Buchanan gets the rebound. New Mexico State slowing it up a little bit. Bobbitt to McCants. Queen Bad pass right into the hands of Colorado State, and Roddy brings it to the hole, and Roddy will have an opportunity for a three-point play. Did we say something about finalists for Mr. Minnesota? It's a little warmer here, but
a little bit warmer, especially during this time of year. But how about this? Driving in the lane, two bodies right to his left. Doesn't matter. Not a ton of contact to have to fight through, but we mentioned the hustle from Roddy, not only to get the steal, but to say, hey, I'm going to take this myself to the bucket, go hard into the lane, and be able to take some contact and finish all the way through. That's a freshman. That's a freshman, ladies and gentlemen. And he's doing some great stuff for this Colorado State squad. Coming off the bench throughout the course of the season, but 6'5", 250, and he's able to utilize that size and play with the handles of a guard and finish like one, too.
Champion in track as well in high school. So that makes it 34-22. New Mexico State on top.
And as dominant as New Mexico State has been in this first half, you kind of get that feeling that Colorado State really has a chance to get back in this with a couple defensive stops, like one there.
Well, McCants got greedy with the three, but he was kind of in a situation where that was the only shot that he could take. And Chris Jans very unhappy with the offensive set right there. Jans to the right of us, barking out to his team. And what he was barking wasn't happy. It was clean, though. Colorado State trying to get another offensive set here. Roddy on the drive. Offensive foul. Eric Curry calling it all the way. Eric Curry, one of the veteran officials, and there you see it.
I don't know about.
Yeah,
looking like the feet were still moving on that one. Bobbitt trying to get into position. You see a little bit of an elbow there from Roddy, but I think that was Roddy using that baseline as really kind of an extra screen, able to kind of fit his way through a tight hole, and because of that, I think the contact from one of the officials back in our direction thought that Bobbitt had been set already.
That's going to go out of bounds on a turnover to Colorado State, and that will be another timeout. Chris Jans in the middle of the picture. He is leading the way for New Mexico State in his third season. Outstanding coach, and he's got a lot of fire in him and a very tenacious coach, and he's a good teacher.
Yeah, and he's really done a magnificent job with this New Mexico State squad, and of course they've been able to build that big lead throughout this first half up to a dozen points now, and really it's been because of the game inside for New Mexico State. Though they lead the WAC in perimeter shooting to start the season, down low is really where they've had their money today, and it's really been the work of C.J. Bobbitt and Trevlin Queen in terms of the bodies down low, but I think the passing has really been next level for New Mexico State. Sean Buchanan's done a great job. Bobbitt has found his way open and been on the receiving side of some of those passes. Now, if you're Colorado State, you've got a lot of peoples in the building right now, and I think you've got to chip away at this lead here in the final minutes of the half.
And one good drive by Chris Martin. We haven't called his name much today out of Frisco, Texas, a redshirt senior, but the Kimball High School and Oral Roberts transfer coming up with a nice layup. Watch the concentration there as he kind of ran over Trevlin Queen, but Queen gets the foul, and the three-point play is completed by Martin.
Chris Martin is another guy that I think Colorado State really needs to get the ball into his hands. He's so slippery, so quick whenever he has the ball and is able to kind of maneuver his way through a defense with ease.
Buchanan. Bob it out top if he wants it, but it's McCants. Now Buchanan in the corner, the shot clock counting down again. Buchanan on the right wing, and that's a three off the mark by Bobbitt. Colorado State with the rebound, trying to make it a 7-point game, a 6-point game with a three. Here's Martin. Good backdoor cut to Stevens, gives it out to Moore. Martin had it knocked away, and it goes out, remaining Colorado State ball, but those hands very active for New Mexico State.
We're seeing a little bit more of that Aggies defense that we saw to start the first half. They've since kind of backed off a little bit, taken the foot off the gas pedal. That's allowed Colorado State to make this a one-digit lead.
McCants with a big block, and that's what he does. Gets into foul trouble sometimes, but that was a clean play, and the Aggies have it. Buchanan once again. Queen. Good ball movement on the perimeter. Queen feeds it into the right corner. Brown for three. Good rebound in traffic by David Roddy. Roddy has to get the ball on an errant pass. And he had a strip. McCants goes to the ground, and that will be a foul on Roddy. Man, Johnny McCants is very active for a bigger guy. And I'll tell you what, the only problem that he has, Kyle, is the fact that he gets into foul trouble. But he's about as aggressive as a player that you'll see on this level.
Yeah, and he plays very good defense, but I think really his mantra is the rebounding. It's being able to make grabs coming down from the boards, and you can see that a little bit today. He hasn't necessarily lit the scoreboard up with the rebounds, but that time just having the active hands down low and being able to knock something away.
Queen on the right base. 9-point lead. Aurora Corachea. Queen for three. Good rebound, Carvacho. Here comes Colorado State the other way. It's Stevens feeding it right wing for Martin, and his three is off the mark. And like you said, Kyle, McCants likes the rebound. He got one right there.
First rebound of the game. Took him a little bit to snag it, but he averages almost 5 per game.
Queen almost had it stolen not once but twice. McCants gives it to Buchanan. The Aggies getting flustered a little bit as a adjustment by Colorado State on defense. Carvacho with the tip and a hold, and that's going to be Aurora Corachea's foul.
And even though there hasn't been a whole lot of scoring in the last couple of minutes for Colorado State, it really feels like that momentum is starting to turn. Of course, the lead being chipped away at right now, and then you're able to find your way back in within scoring or within striking distance heading into the half. You got to feel good about yourself with the way this game was headed earlier. What a feed.
And Thistlewood throws it down. You couldn't draw it up any better, Kyle.
That was a next level pass from Isaiah Stevens with the cut through the defense, and a nice job by Adam Thistlewood to be able to work his way through the trees down low and throw it down.
Sean Buchanan out of Durant, Mississippi. Another steal. Here come the Colorado State Rams. It's Kendall Moore all the way to the basket, and that's going to be a goaltend by McCants. Again, defense leading into offense. We've seen this by the Aggies, but now Colorado State's starting to force turnovers and turning them into buckets.
You're exactly right, and waiting for that goaltending call, bringing it back within 5 points. I was a little surprised to see Martin all by himself back behind that time, and Isaiah Stevens kind of snuck off into the corner. Was kind of expecting Stevens to maybe get an open look, but take the points however you can. It's back to a 5-point game. What a run here by Colorado State.
Rice bumped by Moore, no call. Rice extra step, no call. Good move by Buchanan. Buchanan will get it back and fire a three. Rice with the tap, Carvacho the rebound. Here comes Colorado State, Thistlewood. Long three, that is off the mark, and that will end the half. A 13-2 run over the last 6:55, and Colorado State has made a game out of it.
These are two teams starting the tournament with high expectations. They haven't necessarily lived up to start the year. Of course, Colorado State's been in the postseason 7 of the last 10 years, and then New Mexico State has won the WAC 2 years in a row and has been to the big dance and punched their ticket with an automatic bid. So good teams all the way up and down the field this year.
Foul bails out Colorado State. 34-29, a 5-point lead for New Mexico State, but Colorado State just continues to come back. Stevens right on cue. We talked about him, just barely missed the three. And a long rebound. Buchanan on a good save, and here comes New Mexico State. Queen, that was short. Second chance opportunities not there right now for New Mexico State.
You see a lot of that tempo again coming out of the break. New Mexico State started with the foot on their gas after the initial tip-off earlier.
Just missing on the layup was Chris Martin on a good dipsy-do run. And a nice move, but couldn't get it to go down. Buchanan. Queen back to Buchanan. Once again, the patience. Here's Queen.
This is what we saw a lot from New Mexico State in that last part of the first half. Patience.
Brown for three. That's off the mark. Good rebound in traffic. Chris Martin feeds it on the right wing. Moore on the drive, underneath to Carvacho, and a foul is going to be called. That is going to be an offensive foul. Wipe away the bucket. Good movement, though, as Carvacho threw it down. And he's not very happy, but you see it right here. Carvacho on the end threw it down, but just before that, taking his spot was Terrell Brown and taking the charge.
Great job by Brown, getting over, getting both feet set, no questions asked. And Colorado State a little out of control there with Kendall Moore. He can sometimes be a little out of control, even though he is a fierce scorer. He uses that maybe to his disadvantage every once in a while.
McCants back out there. This is Terrell Brown. Back to McCants. Shot clock going down again. Good spin move by McCants, and he lays it up and in. You sure he's not a point guard?
And you mentioned it after he made that three in the first half, said, hey, this guy can move a little bit. Well, that time able to throw the spin move in there.
Good move, and Carvacho gets a slam that does count this time.
Carvacho put it down so hard it lit up, legitimately lit up the basket. The buzzer light went on for just a couple of seconds.
Queen on the teardrop. Trevlin Queen comes right back, but you're right about that one. He literally lit up the rim, did Carvacho. The rim, the bankboard, everything that goes with it. Good defense there, tie up. And I told you about McCants being one of those guys who does it on defense and dives around. As well, look at that slam right here. That's the first one. Actually, that is the second one. You see the light. It looked like the first one. I mean,
they were both
I got it
right
wrong
there
because they looked like the same replay. It was the same play, and timeout called. We'll take a break here. 7-point lead for New Mexico State. Cayman Islands Classic. Bringing it back here to the Cayman Islands Classic here in St. George in the Cayman Islands. Scott Coletti along with Kyle Yeomans. You look at the New Mexico State bench. They've kind of carried this game from start to finish so far, Kyle, but you don't have that feeling that they've got a done deal because Colorado State, we talked about it when they were down by 15. This is a team that can come back, and they've kept it very respectable.
And that's different than what New Mexico State saw in this Colorado State team last year when they met late in December. Now in late November 2019, it's a completely different Ram squad. You talk about the additions of Isaiah Stevens and even the growth of Kendall Moore. Chris Martin still there. Adam Thistlewood has been a magnificent addition for Colorado State. If you're New Mexico State, you rely on the coaching here of Chris Jans. He's done such a good job, and there's Queen right down low. That was chalked up from the sideline. Give a lot of credit to Coach Jans.
Yeah, Trevlin Queen on the finish. And New Mexico State answering out of the timeout. Martin, Carvacho. Martin's three. Gets the triple. Good setup by Carvacho, and Queen with the finish.
Just the second make from the field for Martin today. You kind of expect that to be a hand to get hot here in the second half. He's been under control early.
Here's more on a steal, more on a layup. Offense led by defense, and both teams have done this very well.
And you mentioned this earlier. This is a Colorado State team that can come back. They did just that against Loyola Marymount earlier in the week, just about a week ago. And Colorado State fiercely came back. One of the things that sparked it, a steal and a score from Kendall Moore. Maybe that's what sparks this comeback again here in the second half.
Ori Coachea, they feed it out to Brown for three. Aggies are there, but taken away by Colorado State, and here come the Rams in a backcourt violation.
Wow.
You know, I think Isaiah Stevens thought that he was in the front court and thought he was throwing it in the front court, but threw it behind the line. Got a little ahead of himself there. I think we have a look at it right here. As you'll see, actually, this will be the layup by Terrell Brown who lays it up and in. But then on the next play on the steal, they thought they had it. And that was Kendall Moore, excuse me, not Terrell Brown on the layup. 12 and 20, he's 15 and 22 overall. 12 and 20 a year ago, 7 and 11 in the Mountain West.
He's been a lot of times in Fort Collins. Of course, was an assistant with Colorado State from
Tim
2007.
Miles, who had a very successful run during that time.
Yeah, 2007 to 2013 as an assistant there, and then looking to lead the Rams to their 8th postseason in 11 years. This has been a very successful Mountain West program as far as getting to the postseason, whether it be one of the runner-up tournaments or even to the big dance.
Bob it outside. New Mexico State up by 4. Buchanan, once again, the shot clock going deep. It's down to 4. Buchanan on a runner. Good rebound, Thistlewood. Here comes Colorado State. A chance to pull within 2. A three-pointer makes it a one-point game.
Love that defense from Colorado State. Suffocating, great rotation. Didn't allow for any open windows for that Aggie squad.
Moore had a 3, didn't take it. For Carvacho inside is fouled. Count it, he will go to the line. And Carvacho, he is so intense inside. And Carvacho now in 20 minutes has upped his mark here to 7 points as you saw him put it up, and look at him get intense.
You think they don't care about these preseason tournaments? You can see the emotion on the face there of Carvacho, throwing up a and-one opportunity, having it go down, and then the fist pump to finish with it. Carvacho, one of the leaders on this Colorado State squad, and that is a veteran play.
3 of 5 from the field, 7 points, and 1 of 1 at the line now. We have a one-point game. New Mexico State with the lead in the ball, but Colorado State putting a ton of pressure on them. Williams out top. Queen, who has 13 points. Williams has 6. McCants backing up on Carvacho. On the base, got it to Rice. And Rice lays it in. Rice with 2.
A lot of contact down low as Rice really kind of went into a massive humanity. There were a lot of people in the lane, and he was able to get free.
Carvacho feeling it, couldn't get it. McCants does. For McCants, that is his second rebound. Rice to Bobbitt. McCants feeds to Williams. Carvacho got the rebound, and here comes Colorado State. Carvacho with 4 boards. Look at Carvacho wanting to take over. The ball is tapped at the last moment by Rice, out of bounds. Saw the 1 there, didn't see the 0 until he was unscreened.
This is probably the best 5 on the floor for Colorado State, maybe with the exception of Isaiah Stevens.
Carvacho right on the contact. He knew he needed to get rid of it. It wasn't really a great shot because he just threw it up. But if he would have had a half second more, I think he could have made that bucket. As you look at it right here, but he's just throwing it up to get the contact right there.
That's a smart veteran play, but not necessarily a high percentage look, at least, to try and throw it down. And I mean, this is a Colorado State squad as the first free throws off the mark. Has made 4 of their last 5 from the field. Carvacho's made 3 of his last 4. They're just starting to find a rhythm offensively against the defense for the Aggies that had originally been stifling through the first half.
Carvacho is 60% at the line, missed them both. Rebound, New Mexico State. See what the Aggies can do here. Jabari Rice to Bobbin. Good steal, taken away by Edwards, one-on-one. Edwards to the hole, lay it in. He was not going to be denied once he got the steal. He said, hey, I'm taking it no matter what.
Edwards all the way to the hole, 7 points now for the redshirt senior, transfer out of Trinity Valley Community College, and that time it just landed at his feet, kicked off with a foot, and right at his feet decided to take it all the way to the bucket. We're back to a 1-score game.
Queen on the drive, and he will be fouled. Tough luck there for Colorado State. It's good defense by David Roddy, but a little too tight, and he got the foul. I'll tell you what, Kyle, you were mentioning just a moment ago, you think these two teams don't care about a preseason game. They're putting it all out there. It's fun
as
to watch.
They should.
Yeah, as they should, but it's a fun game to watch.
And it's not necessarily us thinking that people don't care about these tournaments. It's the outside perspective. Everybody within college basketball and everybody who knows college basketball knows that anytime you're in a tournament format, you want to be as successful as possible. It always helps to have that postseason tournament feel in the regular season, especially before even conference play starts. It really builds a program in a positive direction heading into conference tournaments and then even to the postseason should they make it that far.
44-41, Trevlin Queen with the buckets on the free throw. He's got 15 points on 7 of 12 shooting. That one missed. Thomas on the shot, a little short. Here comes Rice on a good crossover.
I don't know if that was the highest percentage shot for Thomas. A young freshman still learning kind of the college game.
Queen for 3. Kept alive, but Roddy. I'll tell you what, Roddy got that foul because of great position.
Absolutely. Him and Stevens down low.
He got right in front of McNair, and that's what drew him the foul. I mean, watch this. He'll turn his back to the basket, and there's McNair, number 24, and Roddy, number 21, turned and got the great position, and it was on McNair, the foul. So Colorado State down 3. A chance to make it a 1-point game or a tie. Good feed inside, and a jam. Well, that's high percentage for Roddy.
Get used to hearing that name, Rams fans. Roddy's going to be a cornerstone for this program. He plays hard. He knows positioning. He has a veteran basketball IQ. He showed it all day today and continues to show the hustle as well. That's a great combination and a player that I know Coach Medved is excited to have in Fort Collins for the next 4 years.
Foul is called as it was batted away by Edwards, and Edwards will get the foul. But I'll tell you what, the media relations director, John Martin, told me about Roddy as you see him on the put down. Very intense, probably brings the most intensity from anyone on the Colorado State team. Timeout is called, 11:20 on the clock here in the second half. New Mexico State by 1, the Cayman Islands Classic. Welcome back here to the Cayman Islands Classic here in St. George in the Cayman Islands. Scott Coletti along with Kyle Yeomans. And we've seen ourselves a heck of a ball game, Kyle. 44-43 as you look at with the lead. 10-14 on the clock. Roddy with the ball. You see right here, Kyle, not panicking. 3 ball is up and good. That was a beauty by the guy we've been talking about a lot, Roddy.
How about that? His first three-pointer of the year in 14 tries. Try again, young freshman. His first career three-pointer, and it comes in a big spot.
You know what's funny? He looked natural doing it. Looked very natural doing it.
I think that's just kind of the player that Roddy is. You see the look, yeah, absolutely natural. He knew it was going down, pumped the chest a little bit, and able to finish cleanly, and he's just been on fire today. Roddy now 8 points, but it's really been the hustle plays that have paid dividends. A couple steals, a trio of rebounds, and has forced a couple turnovers as well. So another all-around game for the young freshman.
Jabari Rice back into the game for New Mexico State. He's got the ball right there. Bobbitt, wide open right wing side. 3 is off the mark by Brown. Tipped by Rice off the mark. Good rebound into the hands of Roddy. Here comes Colorado State. Martin. Carvacho. Little dipsy-do off the mark. And it was tipped by Bobbitt. You know what's funny about that play, Kyle? Carvacho fell down, looked helpless, looked upset that he couldn't get the ball, but the way he was moving on the ground made it look like he was going for it and actually made Bobbitt tap it out of bounds because Bobbitt thought he had the chance to get the ball.
Yeah, it's a hustle play. Getting back up on your feet quickly after hitting the hardwood. You can see a little bit of the frustration from the Aggies.
Stevens. Good pass, Carvacho, another jam. We are knotted up. Carvacho really feeling it right now.
Patience that time from Stevens and Martin paying off. Stevens had an open look, took a pump fake, dished it. Same thing with Martin. Took a pump fake, drove the baseline, and found a wide open Carvacho down low, and there's no way you're stopping that big body from flushing it home. And then a turnover on the other end.
Yeah, for the Aggies, that will be their 11th turnover of the game. Look at this feed inside. Carvacho, that's about his 4th dunk of the night. He's got 10 points.
And Arakoachova coming in, that time kind of flushing away from Carvacho down low, really opened up the lane for the Rams, and that's what Chris Martin was able to bring to the table while driving baseline. Now Colorado State has a chance for their first lead since early in the game.
3 ball, no Martin on a drive, and Martin traveled. I thought he was going to take the 3 from the corner, but he ended up doing a good pump fake, took it to the hole, but drugged the pivot foot.
Well, and even after that, Martin driving in almost had an opportunity for the same play that they were successful with a couple moments ago, able to dish it underneath.
That play because they've done that about 7 or 8 times today. Successful on about 3 or 4 of them.
Why not? You got a guy like Carvacho down low who's a double-double machine, already has 10 points in the game. You're able to utilize that big frame down low.
Rice. Queen outside. McCants in this situation not going to take the 3. He made one earlier. Queen down to 9. Look at those hands. Good defense, and it's going to go in the backcourt. Tip, taken beautifully. That was a nice play by Kendall Moore, but then it goes out of bounds to New Mexico State. You go through all that trouble and then turn the ball over.
Oh, this is getting fun, Scott. Back and forth we go from the Cayman Islands.
Through the legs of McCants. They dive for it. He gets the ball, and then a turnover, and it goes out of bounds. Timeout on the court. Cayman Islands Classic here on Flow Sports. Back here in St. George on the Cayman Islands, Scott Coletti along with Kyle Yeomans. The crew here at Flow Sports doing a great job. It's only game 1 of 12 all total. We have 4 today, 4 tomorrow, 4 Wednesday. And what a tournament we're seeing so far. If the intensity level of all the games is anything like this first one, we're in good shape, Kyle, as we got a great game right now, tied up at 48. You talked during the break about the shooting. Both teams in the 50% range. Colorado State, 52.4 in the first half, 54.3 in the game, and 46.3 for the Aggies.
Yeah, the Aggies have really struggled from downtown in the second half. They went 5 of 14 in the first half, but since then have been ice cold from beyond the arc, 0 for 6. And so New Mexico State, normally a team that feasts on the three. They live and die by that long ball, and instead, at least here in the second half, they've had to really rely on their shooting down low. Just 6 of 15 from the field. They're lucky they built that lead up early. Really helps them out at the moment.
Buchanan, good feed inside, and putting it up and in on the layup. An and one for C.J. Bobbitt. That was well needed right there, and it gives the Aggies a lead. As you'll take another look at it, Buchanan's been knifing his way inside all game, Kyle.
Yeah, Buchanan's really been the catalyst for this New Mexico State squad today, and really one of the reasons why I feel like they might have struggled a little bit to start the second half is because Buchanan wasn't really on the floor throughout the first 10 minutes or so of the second half, or at least not for a good amount of time. But a nice job by Bobbitt finding his way open behind that Rams defense and receiving another great feed from Buchanan. Buchanan now with a total of 4 assists on the game.
Aggie defense cranking it up now. The crowd, who has been outstanding, the crowd, they're cranking it up as well. Carvacho, speaking of cranking it up, he's been taking this game over. Carvacho on the hook shot, and Nico Carvacho with 12 on 5 of 9 shooting. Buchanan, Rice. I like the way they move it around on the perimeter here. Very patient, but they can go helter-skelter at the same time. Down to 7, Bobbitt. Good pull-up from 15. C.J. Bobbitt. And Bobbitt with 7 points on 3 of 4 shooting.
And Bobbitt has really struggled from beyond the arc, so that's a good mantra for New Mexico State, a team that was 0 of 6 before from downtown.
Stevens for 3, rims and no good. And
but going back to Bobbitt, just 2 of 14 entering the game this year after shooting 36 and 34% the previous 2 years, and that's not a good sign if you're looking for Colorado State. Carvacho's shaken up after the play.
Yeah, he's not moving around too well, although he's trying to walk it off. That's good news, but he went down in a heap, helped out by the Colorado State training staff there. And Carvacho grimacing. He's coming over towards midcourt, towards us, and he will come to the bench. But if we're seeing what we're seeing, I got a feeling he's going to be back. But the Aggies got the rebound. Carvacho went down in a heap, as you saw right there on the replay.
Just got a little tangled up early. Going to get checked on by the training staff. And like you said, if we're seeing him put some pressure on it now, wouldn't be surprised to see him back in the game. Just 6:27 remaining.
The crew doing a great job here, and just getting the cameras and everything over through customs is a chore. So kudos to the Flow Sports crew for getting things going here. And this is game 1 of many, so getting the kinks out. Rice for 3, money. Jabari Rice, who had a career-high 21 points in the opener against Western New Mexico. In a rhythm right there on that 3 ball.
Second straight from downtown, and all of a sudden that rhythm's back for the Aggies. Trying to call for a backcourt violation as Rice is now pestering on defense as well.
Roddy couldn't get the triple. Save to Buchanan. Buchanan, the floor general, slows things up.
I really like the way Jabari Rice plays the game of basketball. All over the floor. Stays under control.
Right on cue he did so right there as they tried to steal it away from him. Down to 10. Here's Rice. Good feed inside to Bobbitt. Couldn't get it. Our coach, no, that's McCants who puts up and in. Johnny McCants on the layup. I was screened out at first. Thought it was Iroy Coachea, but he's on the bench. McCants is not. And watch this rebound and put back by Johnny McCants. Excellent play.
He talked about the athleticism earlier, Scott, talking about how McCants has that under control mentality
stays calm, stays collected, and because of that falling away, he's able to keep his eye on that backboard and utilize it to his advantage and continues to grow the lead for New Mexico State.
That lead is 8 with 5:12 to play. Cayman Islands Classic. New Mexico State coming off of a stinging 1-point loss to their rival New Mexico at home on Thursday. Colorado State coming off of a stinging loss at home against Arkansas State, 80-78. And Colorado State, a very young team, 3 seniors, a sophomore, freshman, 4 true freshmen in the lineup.
That's really been utilized to their advantage today. And now Carvacho checking back in for Colorado State. That's a very welcome sign for Rams fans in that entire program, because in his absence, that's really when New Mexico State was able to increase that lead. Unable to get the free throw to fall, but now it's an 8-0 run for the Aggies.
Johnny McCants, who had 4 points and 4 rebounds before fouling out against New Mexico, having an outstanding game here. Thistlewood missed from 3, and McCants on cue gets the rebound. New Mexico State up by 8 with the ball, under 5 minutes. Buchanan dribbling in the circle, gets it out to Queen. Queen having a game, 17 points, 7 of 13 shooting. And Queen, 1 of 5 from long range. Rice, tough luck there, inside, Bobbitt blocked. That's going to be a held ball, so the arrow, which way is it pointing? It's going to go out of bounds to New Mexico State. That's the only problem, the arrow's on our side. Actually, it's being shown to the left of us, so, and it is an arrow, by the way.
Yeah, it's a legitimate, it's not those light up arrows that you see for possession arrows. It's a carved wooden arrow from the Cayman Islands.
Don't see those every day. Shot off the mark by Queen, and that goes out of bounds to Colorado State. You know, you made a mention to the crew yesterday when we were having our meetings and whatnot that it's going to be loud in here.
Oh, yeah.
Man, I'll tell you what, both fan bases, Colorado State and New Mexico State, the people that have come over to the island have really brought it with the vocal cords.
No doubt about it. Players bringing it as well. And that's a smart veteran play. Didn't get a great look at it because it was right underneath the scoring table, but Queen dove on that loose ball and in one motion called a timeout. You'll get a great look at it here right before he hits the sideline. Wow.
That is a great play by Trevlin Queen.
So, you see the relief on his face on the replay.
Right. You know what else gets a thumbs up? This game.
Absolutely.
This game has been outstanding. We still have 4:13 to play. The Aggies up by 8. They have the ball right now. They've got Buchanan on the court, along with Rice, Queen, McCants, and also out there is Bobbitt. I've been very impressed with the way Bobbitt's played.
Yeah, he's really picked it up here in the second half. Didn't have the first half that I think he even anticipated, and has really struggled to start the year, especially shooting-wise, but he hit a 3. His 3rd of the year in 15 tries. And then he's also played well. Here he goes again.
On Carvacho, missed it. Roddy with the rebound. Here comes Colorado State. In the road greens, Roddy. Runner-up for Mr. Minnesota and Mr. Minnesota basketball. Carvacho. Here's more. Roddy, fake the 3. Bobbitt, a tough defender on him. Look at Carvacho on the drive on McCants. He used the other side of the rim and laid it up and in. McCants with the foul, and another 3-point opportunity for Carvacho. Watch this move. The spin was nice, but look at this, just reversed it. And McCants was in no man's land.
Yeah, nice move going to his left, using that right shoulder up against Bobbitt, who's been a magnificent defender for the Aggies all year long. But you see just the size disadvantage with Carvacho, 6'11", 245. Bobbitt just at 6'7". He's got about 4 inches on him and is able to utilize that for the 3-point play.
You were looking down at your papers. He banked that free throw home.
Did he call glass?
I did. I'm wondering if
Does
he
it
called
count?
It. Well, he's happy he made the 3-point play. The lead is 5 now for New Mexico State. So just like that, Colorado State back within 5. Buchanan again on the drive. Tried to put it up over Carvacho and McCants is there saying, hey, you know what? I got the foul on one end, I'll make it up.
How about McCants staying with the play in the right position as the shot clock expires, able to tip it home? That's a nice play from McCants and another great opportunity for New Mexico State.
McCants 4 of 5 for 9 points. Pull-up is good by Stevens. Stevens with 11 now. Back to a 5-point game.
First make for Stevens here in the second half. He really has gone cold. Maybe not from the field. He hasn't really put up a ton of opportunities. They've been feeding the ball down low so much with Ronnie and Carvacho that Stevens hasn't seen a ton of looks.
Queen tried to move it inside. It was knocked out of bounds by active hands by Colorado State's Martin. But there's the man who's keeping Colorado State in the ballgame, number 32 in green.
He's still favoring that right foot just a little bit.
6 of 10 shooting for 15 points, 3 of 6 from the foul line. That's why that bank was good news for him.
Any way you can find the bottom of the net. Watch out for Queen here for New Mexico State. He's their go-to guy, leads the game in points with 17.
Queen tried to backdoor. It was intercepted. Here comes Colorado State the other way. That was Stevens on the defense. Thistlewood to Moore. Carvacho had it knocked away, got it back. Backing up all the way from the outside. They knock it away in a foul. That's going to be free throw time for Carvacho, 1-1.
Yeah, Jabari Rice not happy with the call. Thought he had an open look at the basketball to potentially rip it away from Carvacho, and that's what you get when you have a size disadvantage. Talked about it a moment ago with Bobbitt and Carvacho, but this time with Carvacho and Trevelin Queen, who's actually an inch shorter than his teammate C.J. Bobbitt. Carvacho was settling into potentially backing him all the way down. Jabari Rice saw that. A savvy move from the redshirt sophomore, goes up, tries to make the grab, but instead got a little bit of skin instead.
Carvacho with 15, makes it 16. 4 of 7 now from the foul line. Came in just a 60%er. Had 17 points, 7 rebounds in a win over Loyola Marymount. And in his last game against New Mexico, 15 points, 5 rebounds, 3 assists, and 2 blocks. Left-handed, no good. Queen with the rebound. Well, the Aggies looking like they want to slow things up a little bit, Kyle, but that might be a ruse. This team doesn't usually take the air out of the ball.
I was kind of expecting them to press coming out of the break, but instead the patience paying off a little bit there, and it's instead going to be a double dribble down low. Bobby couldn't handle the hot pass, and instead turns it right back over to Colorado State.
Yeah, so it goes out of bounds to Colorado State. Stevens missed it. Rice with the board. Crunch time here. 4-point game. New Mexico State with the lead in the ball with 1:10. First game of the Cayman Islands Classic. And what a game it has been. Two teams that know each other very well. Queen. Good rebound, Chris Martin. Here comes Colorado State. Martin running. Stevens tried to get it into Carvacho. Fighting on the ground, out of bounds. Colorado State ball.
See what New Mexico State has defensively to look here. We talked about Colorado State. Their go-to has been Nico Carvacho, and Carvacho still hobbling around a little bit. Doesn't look 100% with that leg. Got wrapped up a little bit earlier. Hasn't had that same kind of step. Well, they put Johnny McCants right up on top of him. Best size matchup that I think New Mexico State has to combat the 6'11 center. Wonder if they'll go to the perimeter or try and attack down low off the baseline.
There's a lob inside and not getting it. That was a good look, though. Chris Martin just barely missed the opportunity, but he'll go to the line.
I don't know if that was drawn up or what exactly happened there. But Martin found his way free.
It was a good-looking play regardless.
Yeah. A savvy feed from Isaiah Stevens right in front of that Colorado State bench.
Martin with the free throw. Makes it a 3-point game with 40 seconds to play.
These are crucial free throws, especially with Colorado State potentially having to foul with a miss here.
Martin one more. And Martin makes it a 2-point game. So Martin makes it 60-58. Chris Martin, 8 points, has made all 3 of his free throws, 2 of 5 shooting.
What that free throw does, it gives you options. You can either foul here, force New Mexico State to make a free throw. You can try and force another turnover. New Mexico State's turned it over a total of 14 times today. You have forced those turnovers. You can get a stop here, and that's exactly what they're going to try and do.
New Mexico State does not have McCants on the court. I think that might have taken into the thinking for Colorado State, as McCants, obviously not a great free throw shooter. You'd want to foul him, but he's off the court. Timeout called, 30 seconds here.
Being down by 2 here, going to try and force that turnover, get the ball back. It's going to be interesting.
Chris Jans complaining here as they thought that it was a 30, but it ended up amounting to a full timeout, but wasn't supposed to be. Trevlin Queen. Queen with 17 points. Queen, a long 3 off the mark. Carvacho the board. 2-point game, 7 seconds. Roddy can't get it, but he is fouled.
Wow. And how about the freshman as the time continues to tick down, instead of taking a contested look from the corner, elects to go baseline on one of the better defenders for New Mexico State, draws the foul, and has a chance with 2 free throws here. You got to make the first one. Got to make both. But especially that first free throw, extremely crucial here in the final moments, because at least if you make the first one, you have some options if you miss the second.
64.5% at the line. He takes a breath right there. He is 1 of 1 on the day. That's big. 1-point game.
Now it's all rebounding. If it comes off the rim, Carvacho's going to have to get a step on the inside. He's matched up with C.J. Bobbitt on that right side. They're going to put McCants on the opposing end of Carvacho. He's matched up with Chris Martin. Should this one rim out?
Roddy eyes it and hits it. We're tied. 60-60. 3 seconds. I'm going to tell you something funny. I never thought about the potential of overtime. Now we're staring it right in the face.
Well, with the timeout called, let's see what Chris Jans has to draw up. We talked about how much he has meant to this New Mexico State program. 60-14 over his 3 seasons with the Aggies. This is the first game in his entire tenure that he's played under 500. He has never played a game under 500 with New Mexico State before today, as they enter it at 2-3. See what he has drawn up here. 3 seconds is enough time to take 1 or 2 dribbles, get past half court depending on the pass and depending on the pressure that Colorado State puts on defensively, and then it's all about finding an open look and trying to heave one toward the rim.
If you want to follow the Cayman Island Classic on Twitter, it's twitter.com, obviously, Cayman Island Classic. They'll keep you up to date here as we will. Tipped by Carvacho, throws it at the buzzer, and we are going to overtime. Well, it's only fitting, the game that we've had. New Mexico State had a big lead early. Overtime coming up, and we will have it for you out of the break. Knotted up at 60, the Cayman Islands Classic on Flow Sports.
It's been a long game, to say the least, back and forth. Colorado State, last time they went to overtime and won back against Boise State, February 10th of 2016. Been almost a full 4 years since they last had an overtime win. They're going to win the tip here to get things underway. That was a 2-overtime bout with Boise State.
Stevens trying to give him the lead. Can't do it. Queen with the rebound. Chris Chan's right in front of us to our right, barking out instructions. His team tied up, but they have the ball. Jabari Rice uses a pick. Queen uses a McCann screen. A little runner from 15. That needed a bounce. Good rebound by Roddy.
That was a sneaky move by Queen, going down low using the baseline.
Martin couldn't get it. Once again, 2 chances to get the lead. And here come the Aggies of New Mexico State. Buchanan circles around on the drive. Bobbitt. McCants takes another 3. In and out. Roddy down to Carvacho. Does he drive? Yes, he does. And he gets the block. And wow, Carvacho will go to the line for 2 to give his team the lead. And looked like a power forward just going down the lane right there.
Carvacho, the Euro step back and forth, drawing the foul a little bit. Putting up the floater and unable to put it home, but 2 free throws, and one of which would give them their first lead of the game.
Carvacho had 15 points, 5 rebounds against Arkansas State, misses the free throw.
Will they ever lead is the question.
Yeah, that's a great question. Well, he can give us the answer right here. 3:58 to play in overtime. And he can't do it, but Roddy gets a rebound, and he is short on the layup. Buchanan got the board in traffic, and here come the Aggies of New Mexico State.
It's like every time Colorado State has a chance to take the lead, the rim has a lid on it.
Trevlin Queen, they call him Trev. McCants. Foul. The question is it on the layup or a loose ball? Either way, it's going to be free throw time.
You always hear the old coaching cliche, whoever has the ball last, whoever scores last. Here in overtime, we're still trying to figure out who's going to score first. Nobody's put it into the bottom of the net since the overtime period started. Now Rice has an opportunity to do so. They called the foul on Carvacho, saying he threw a little bit of a bow there at the end to push Rice out of bounds. I'm not sure if that was necessarily the case.
Rice hits the free throw to give his team the lead. He has 10, and a perfect 3 of 3 at the line for Jabari Rice. 6'4", 180, redshirt sophomore out of Houston, Texas, Thurgood Marshall High School. At 13 points, 3 boards against New Mexico Thursday. And money on the free throw makes it a 2-point lead for the Aggies. 3:28 to go in overtime.
11 points now for Jabari Rice. It's now the 4th time in 6 games this year that he's found double digits. Really bursted onto the scene.
Ball is knocked away. It remains Colorado State ball. We talked about Twitter earlier. If you want to go to the Cayman Islands Classic on Twitter, at Cayman Classic is the official handle there. I think I gave it out incorrectly before, but we're wanting to give them plenty of pub. This'll whip for 3. Rice with the rebound. It was a good look for Thistlewood, but he couldn't get it to go down.
First three-point attempt of the game for Thistlewood. Has been a solid player throughout, really in the paint. That time found its way open on the perimeter.
Buchanan, double team. Three ball, Bobbitt off the mark. Good rebound, Rice, score it! He put up the muscles there after the play, and you see the look right there, and well, you didn't see him flex afterwards, but it's a 4-point lead for New Mexico State now.
He's flexing because he's been strong here in this overtime period. All 4 points for New Mexico State.
It'll be a pair of free throws coming up. Just take a look at it right there. Again, Rice. And after the play, there he goes with the flex afterwards.
I love the body control that time of Rice. He was 180, turned away from the basket, able to reel in the rebound, and then took one step off of that right foot, spun back around, and was able to put it up and stay under control the entire time. And that's something that, of course, out of a young player like Jabari Rice, just a redshirt sophomore, you love seeing is that control, the patience, and the ability to find his way open in a tough situation in the paint.
Chris Martin hits the free throw to make it a 2-point game as he makes them both. Martin 5 of 6 at the charity stripe, and Martin with an even 10. Lots of time to go here in overtime. No shortage of entertainment here. Three in the corner, and that is good by the man who was flexing his muscles. Rice. Steaming Rice right now.
He has been awesome here in this overtime period. 7 points for Jabari Rice. Feeling it from three, hit 2 free throws, and then found his way at the bottom of the paint. Here it is again, open from the corner. You can't give that man a look like that. He averages 11 points per game for a reason. He's got 16 now, 7 of which here in the extra period.
Rice is 5 of 8 shooting, 2 of 3 from long range. 16 points for Rice. McCants out of the game. The fact that McCants has been in the game has been huge for New Mexico State. He fouled out his last game, no such problem today. Until now, as he just now fouls out, so they got a lot out of him. Carvacho makes the first. Minute 52 to play. 5-point game. Carvacho, 6 of 10 at the line, or make that 5 of 11 from the line, 6 of 10 from the floor, and he makes it. That young man has just been everything for this team, and that's saying something because they have a lot of good players, but he has really put the team on his shoulder.
He stands out. You talk about guys like Roddy and Stevens who are young pieces for Colorado State, but they are being led by their veteran presence in Carvacho. Got up underneath them that time. Just put his right arm right into the chest.
Ore Coachea will go to the line. And I know you love the nickname. He is called the Spaniard.
He has been tough like one today. He's put in a lot of work for New Mexico State. Maybe not showing a ton on the board, just his 5th point of the ball game with that free throw. 1 of 3 from the field, but he has really been a force down low and was responsible for shutting down Carvacho early in the game that allowed New Mexico State to grow a little bit of a lead.
Made both free throws, 3 of 4 from the stripe, 6 points. 6-point lead. Down to a minute 22. Carvacho way outside. Tried to get it into Roddy. It was poked away. Out of bounds off of, I guess they said Roddy hit it.
I think that's a good call. Looked like it went just off of the fingertips a little bit. We'll get a good look at it here. Yep.
Yeah, right off the hands of Roddy.
Heads up play from Bobbitt, keeping those hands back.
Buchanan, who's been steady all game long.
This is a possession for New Mexico State where they can do something they haven't done all day, and that's put Colorado State away. With less than a minute remaining, you put up a basket here, makes things immensely tougher on the Rams to try and surmount the comeback.
Rice, got it! Steaming Rice again! He's having fun out there.
How about 10 for 10 in the second, or in the overtime period? There you see him, Jabari Rice feeling it for New Mexico State.
Watch this. He says, hey, take that. And right over Chris Martin.
Now the game's leading scorer, 19 points. And a full 10 of those coming here in this extra frame.
9-point game underneath. Roddy is fouled. He wanted that bucket. You see the intensity. And one thing that you keep pointing out, Kyle, that we want people not to forget, this young man's only a freshman. And he carries himself like he's a junior or senior.
He looks like a veteran. He absolutely does. He doesn't have any really hesitation. He hits the basket, he hits the bucket like he's a savvy veteran, and he's done it for multiple years. He's got body control like an like an upperclassman. He's a skillful individual, and I think Colorado State should be very excited by what Roddy brings to the table. Come Mountain West time, he's going to wreak some havoc. Be a lot of good games for the Rams with Roddy at the helm.
Couldn't get it to go down. And a 9-point game, New Mexico State with the lead.
What a bout this has been. Both sides really wanting to advance to what would be the semifinals of the tournament. As the second free throw falls for Roddy. That shot from Jabari Rice may have just been the dagger for New Mexico State. Got to convert here. That full court press.
Jabari Rice. Jabari has 19. Steal. They'll feed it. Here's Rice again. And Rice now with 21. He leads all scorers. Queen has 17. Rise in the lane, and that's going to be good. Stevens with the bucket. Stevens with 13. And he'll have a chance for a three-point play. 26 seconds on the game clock. Look at that, a little double pump and put it down, but perhaps a little too late.
Rice with his 21 points, by the way, tying his career high. Also had 21 in the season opener, where he really kind of exploded onto the scene in his debut with New Mexico State. I think 21 today feels a little bit better, though, in a tournament format where you put up a dozen points in overtime to help your team. He scored 12 of the 14 points for New Mexico State in the overtime period. That's an unbelievable contribution from Jabari Rice, the redshirt sophomore out of Houston.
NMSU with the ball, on their way to play the winner of Loyola in South Florida tomorrow at 1:30 Eastern time here on Flow Sports. Colorado State will play the loser of Loyola in South Florida at 11 a.m. in our first game of the day tomorrow. We have Loyola in South Florida coming up, and then George Mason, Old Dominion later on today at 5 Eastern, and then the nightcap, Washington State, Nebraska at 7:30 Eastern. Williams with 7 after that free throw, 3 of 4 at the line. Actually 2 of 2 at the line after that make, 2 of 3 from three-point range. It's been a good balanced effort for New Mexico State all told. But Rice and his tag team partner Queen have been the main difference.
And usually it's been the other way around. Usually Queen has been the go-to guy for New Mexico State. However, today, or at least here in this overtime period, it was Jabari Rice that really put his stamp on things. He got the overtime scoring underway with that three-pointer from the corner. Had a couple free throws before that, and then the dagger from straight away, top of the key, and Rice drains it. Like you said, steaming here in this overtime period.
You can't tell by the slow motion, but the last replay that the crew showed earlier that was a little faster, you could see the head bobbing, and he was having a lot of fun. He was kind of doing gyrations out there. Like,
he's got that swagger.
You're not stopping me, guys.
He's got that confidence.
Yeah, he's got the confidence indeed. I'll tell you what's confident. 7 of 10 shooting, 3 of 4 from three-point range, and a perfect 4 of 4 from the line. And, oh, by the way, he also has 8 rebounds.
Leads the squad with 8 rebounds as well. That's a guard.
I was just going to say, you don't think of a 6'4 guard who can play the point as your leading rebounder, but it's all about the hustle. And he's one of the guys. We talked about Roddy taking things over into his own hands for Colorado State. That's exactly what Rice has done for New Mexico State as we're in the final 20 seconds.
New Mexico State needed an individual to kind of step up here in this overtime period, and I mentioned it earlier. That was something that they haven't done, is put away Colorado State. They struggled to get that final bucket, that dagger, that one to put it on ice. They got it with Jabari Rice on a couple of occasions.
3 by Martin off the mark. And it's tipped out of bounds, remaining Colorado State ball with 10.6 on the clock. So New Mexico State about to move on. They will face off against Loyola or South Florida. Loyola of Chicago, of course. 3-ball by Stevens is good. 7.5 makes it a 6-point game.
4-3 of the day for Stevens. Ties his career high, but
Trevlin Queen will run out the clock. Smart play, classy play there by Trevlin Queen. And a late foul, 1.5. Chris Jan's a little surprised that the foul was called, but, you know, you're taught to keep the game going unless your coach says, hey, don't foul. You're taught to do that. So you can't fault the player for committing the foul, but Trevlin Queen was trying to just run out the clock, and he's going to end up getting a couple of point opportunity right here. And he puts up the first.
Been really impressed with this New Mexico State squad, and really both sides played with an intensity of a postseason game like you mentioned earlier, but New Mexico State just was really the better team.
Clock is going to strike 0, and the ball game is over.